Can't you see? You are in a new place. This is a new chapter. This is a new beginning. The past can be burned, forgotten. You are here now. You are here now. You are not there in the past, and you're not somewhere in the future either. You are here now. And your future self will thank you a lot if you choose to be here now. So the premise of this video is fully embracing these new beginnings, these new chapters in life, and realizing that stories disconnect us from our bodies. They disconnect us from the earth's body. And they just destroy the psyche. They literally destroy the psyche. Obviously, to some extent, like, context is needed. If you wake up one day and you just forget who you are and you forget everything, like, that's going to cause issues in your relationships. But stories specifically relating to identity or just traumatic experiences in the past, they can destroy you. The story, no, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go with that pun. So I want to put this in a way that is like a new perspective of it. I have some notes here. So it's basically, let's say you just moved, I don't know, or maybe you're going to move, or maybe you just haven't even been aware of the changes in your life. But like, to ground yourself, to be here now. The only thing holding society together, I have this in another video, is stories. Every morning we wake up, we have these stories running in our subconscious minds, and then we just continue the story, an autopilot. And I have a question for you. I don't know if I made a video on this, on side characters, but if you think about it, is a side character, okay, so think of like a book, right? We have the main character and we have the side characters, the stagnant characters, static, non-dynamic characters. A side character has reasons for what they do. They aren't just like, oh, I woke up today, I'm a side character, so I'm just going to do the same old boring stuff, drink my cup of coffee, and go to my cubicle job, or whatever the side character does. Or maybe the side character is a lifeguard. I'm going to go do my normal thing, this. So this will be a cool exercise to do. Maybe you can write down the characteristics of a side character and the characteristics of a main character. Main character energy, what does that mean? Side characters live on autopilot. Main characters are in the present moment and they're taking more risks, and main characters are much more uncomfortable, and they have many more existential crises. But guess what? They're not an NPC, not an NPC. I don't think anyone is an NPC, but it's just a spell. It's basically just a waking dream. Being on autopilot is a response to trauma and a response to fear of, I don't want to break outside of the box of society's norms because, like, what the heck is going to happen? Like, it's scary to go against the grain. But the main character, in the end, is much more free to just roam the world. It's basically if you're playing a video game and just the main character just gets to see so much more. It's just so much more fulfilling to be a main character. So, and I'm going to take that a step further and say I don't want to be a side character and I don't want to be a main character. Just the whole thing of being a character and having this story of this happened to me. So now I'm going to behave like this. What I'm going to say now is controversial. This is just brainstorming. Take what I say with a grain of salt. But it's basically, how can you have free will if you are someone? This may not make sense. This is very out there. But it's this thing of, if you are a person, if you have a conceptual version of yourself, it's a box. You have this box, right? This conceptual version of yourself. So this, let's say your name is Bob, okay? You have a conceptual version of Bob. Bob likes pasta. Bob likes to go shooting, and Bob likes listening to heavy metal. Okay, this is Bob. So now Bob wakes up in the morning and Bob is like, okay, I'm going to eat pasta for breakfast. And then Bob is like, okay, I'm going to listen to the same music for the 50 millionth time on my way to work. And you realize, wait a second, did Bob choose this? Or is Bob just following his own status quo? Once there is a status quo, once you are a character, then you know what happens. You don't have free will anymore. You don't have free will. Does free will exist? I don't know, okay? But for the sake of this conversation, if you are a character, then you don't have free will, because you're just going to behave based on that character's past experiences and not on the actual present moment, the intuitive, divine present moment, and you can just merge with it and become one with it. Either way, I don't know if free will exists. And this is a conversation for like a decade in the future, because I have no idea how to even go about that. But I guess the whole premise of this story thing is living, like having a story can make it easier to repeat behaviors, make it easier to live on autopilot, and this is what causes stagnation in society. We're all just separate from nature in our boxes, and obviously there is some level of convenience in that, or that functions in some way to protect from natural disasters, whatever. Okay, you don't want to sleep in the rain. I get it. I haven't even slept in the rain, so I shouldn't even be saying this stuff until I actually go outside and sleep in the rain. Maybe that'll be one of my challenges this year. Maybe I'll record it. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. That'll be rough. Anyways, let me go back to my notes. I'm going on a tangent. So, you're in a new place, embracing the present moment. Nature will humble those who enter. The quickest way, in my opinion, for now, to humility is to be alone in nature and in silence. And not even humility, maybe like a little bit above that, of just being like losing the self and just being one with nature. And that is something that can help dissolve these stories. So maybe we should actually get into practical steps to dissolve the stories. So I think the key steps to dissolving these stories are to get into your body, which can be done through breath work, yoga. And the key thing with doing yoga to get into your body and out of your mind and out of the stories is to, a lot of times we focus on the yoga teacher. We watch the screen if you're doing yoga in your house, or you're in class and the instructor is showing you what to do. I recently got yoga teacher training, and we learned a style where the instructor only instructs with their voice so the students can stay in their own bodies. So the key to a yoga practice that is effective is to know the names of the poses and to be cued verbally, or to just have your own flow so you aren't distracted by the people around you or the instructor. So maybe in the beginning stages of yoga, it can be difficult to use it as a tool if you don't know the poses, because you may get distracted. So if you don't know yoga yet, it's pretty cool. But you can also just dance, just move your body and like just dance and explore the space around you with music, and just really focus on how the air feels around you and the texture of the wall. Like in my yoga training, we were even like dancing on the floor and just feeling that texture and just feeling the textures of different walls. So dancing, breath work to get into your body, just any form of exercise where you're focused on the sensation of exercising, the somatic aspect, instead of on mental processes. So that helps for that. So I said, getting into your body to dissolve stories. Really just like being aware of them, even accepting what has happened, but also like being willing to move past it. Obviously, going to a therapist could help. It depends on the style of therapy. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, like I'm not a professional in mental health. And another aspect, which is a little bit controversial, I have a documentary about this on my channel, 10 minutes, is plant medicine. And this documentary focuses on psilocybin, and it touches on LSD, mescaline a little bit. But I think that used properly under proper supervision, that these tools can be used to go into your body and really see things from an outside perspective and more of an introspective way of, oh, like these things I believed about myself aren't true, or just really being in tune with emotions. And that's why it's good to have guidance for this, because the emotions could be pretty intense. So yes, so please be careful with that stuff. I'm not advocating that at all, okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's see if I have anything else here to share. Okay, I do want to touch on something very important, which I should have touched on in the beginning of the video. So I'm probably going to make a whole separate video on this, but I'll touch on it briefly right now. It's that these technological devices that we have, the iPhone, the computer, whatever, the TV, it makes it easy to really stunt a new beginning, right? So I just moved from Arizona to Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. Here I am. It's summer. I know. I'm not in the winter here right now. So I know it's going to get brutal. But I just moved here, and the first few days I wasn't even fully here. I was on my phone sometimes talking to my friends in Arizona, or doing phone calls and talking to my family in Arizona, because they wanted to check up on me. But at some point I was like, how am I going to step into this new beginning if this stupid box, this stupid metal, aluminum, whatever, glass, whatever it's made of these days, is distracting me. It's literally a blockage. It's literally a portal to the past or the future. And a lot of times, like, if you were to just move somewhere new without your phone, obviously, there are great uses for this device. But if you were to move somewhere new without being able to contact people from back home, obviously it is good at times to be able to do that. But you would be so much more immersed in the now, like, okay, I'm here now. I'm in this new place. 100%. So phones can really be a distraction, a hindrance from being in the present moment and of letting the past go, because maybe you'll be in contact with people from, let's say, 10 years ago on your phone. And otherwise, you wouldn't be in contact with them. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to be in contact with people, but at some point it's, what is your capacity, and are you going to be able to be fully present with the people in this new place if you're still texting people from a decade ago? That's the question at the end of the day. So, summing up this video, stories truly hold people back. Stories are actually worsened by the presence of technology, looking at past memories too often, or just staying in contact with people from decades ago. But it's when it's excessive contact. If you're in another country, that's okay. And getting into the body, getting into ways of dissolving these stories, such as through some physical practice, being aware of the body. Yoga Nidra is another great one. These meditations that you can find on YouTube where you do a body scan for about 20 minutes. And also plant medicine with proper supervision, if legal, in your area. So, yes, thank you for watching this video. It was a little longer than I expected, but I hope you got some gold nuggets. If you have any disagreements, I'm curious. Comment them. Maybe I'll read those comments. And if you have anything to add, please add it. I would love to see more perspectives and input on how we can dissolve these stories. And if you made it this far in this video, I want to tell you something that most people don't know, okay? So thank you for watching the video this far. What I'm going to tell you now is that most of the messages for this channel that I get, like some people are wondering, where do you get these messages? I'm going to go a little bit into where I get these messages. Some of it is introspective. Most of it is introspective. It's more of me interpreting my reality. But a majority is me just being in nature and sitting next to a tree or just observing the leaves in the sky, and then seeing myself in this reality, so sort of my connection to nature. And I sort of get these messages that I share from plants, which sounds very out there, but most of these messages are from actual plants. So it'll be that maybe I'm looking at a tree for a long period of time in meditation, and I just suddenly get these new thoughts enter my mind of, whoa, this is a new perspective to look at the world through. And yeah, so it's very, very interesting. Maybe in the future I'll go more into depth, but plants have this wisdom. They are fully present at all times and fully in a healthy connection with source, energy, life force. There isn't that egoic block. So I feel like a lot of these messages are beautiful and just from pure love. Peace out. Sleep well.